Now we can move into the source code of client side. First of all, we have to view the mind map first, this image first. Obviously, client is much simpler than server side. We must have the socket, query socket, in order to connect with the server. Then we use a connect function to start connection. We make this loop, write read loop, to communicate with read and write data. Communicate with the server. If we don't want to talk anymore, we just close it. Okay, go to the source code. As the client, same as the client, we create socket first. Error happen, we print error. No error happen, we move on. Okay, since we have to connect to server, like the server want to know the information of a client, the client also want to know the information of the server. So we give the variable here. This variable will store the information of server. Then which kind of port we want, pretty like server part. Give what kind of IP protocol you want to use, which port you want to access. Here server, since we use the port 48 port number, right? Here we have to use the same port number, then the same address. Now here we start connect the server. We give the variable server address, then the size of the server address. The length of this variable. If error happen, print error. No error happen, move on. Here we give two buffers. One is for the input buffer. Another is for output buffer. We use the while loop. Now we get into the read-write part. Reading and writing. Okay. First of all, we initialize the input and output buffer. We use fgets, like get string, right? Read the input from user. std means standard input. Just like for example, we have here, we can input something, right? Just echo something. We can input something. Okay, standard input. Then we give the buffer size. We have to give where to store the input, right? So we give the variable input string, pretty like the buffer in the server, the buffer size. Then we have to read from the standard input, not other place. Then after we read, we have to write back to the server. Whatever you read from the server, whatever you read from our input, then we write to the server. Okay, here we got the file descriptor written back by the connect. This represents the server. Then we have to read the data, then send it to the server. Okay, the data we already stored into the input string, right? Then we give the length. If there's an error happen, we just print error. No error happen, write to the server. Then if the server sends back us something, we just read the information, read the data from server. Then no error happen. In order to show to us we get something, we print them out. Okay, fpush means file because std_in and std_out are pretty like a file. We want to make the data stored in here, stored in output string. Then print out to the standard output. Standard output here in the console pretty like the console we print something, right? For example, we list something. Here is standard output. Then if we don't want to talk more, we just shut down. I mean get out of the loop. Then close the socket. Okay, that's it. And if you guys view all the two videos, I think you pretty have a very basic understanding of TCP connection. Then if we go to the source of tiny HTTPD, it will make us much easier. Okay, that's it. Thank you.